Good evening to our viewers watching on television and those joining us online across our social media platforms. I am Faith Sandy with the Tuesday, February 3 edition of the Guyana Tv9 News. In the headlines tonight, Guyana and Belize signed landmark cooperation agreements during President Ali's state visit. Minister Brown Shadiq rebuts opposition claims, says Region 1 health services are improving. Jobless rates in Guyana falls nearly 50% since 2020. Lead by example, Minister Prague tells WINMP. And 102 days unlawfully detained, Guyanese man wins $75,000 against Bahamian authorities. Now for the news in depth. Colin Abrams begins tonight's newscast by telling you that Guyana and Belize officially tightened their bilateral ties on Monday with the signing of 4 Memoranda of Understandings, MOUs, targeting critical growth in tourism, agriculture, education, and digital governance. During a high-profile state visit to Belmopan, President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali addressed a joint sitting of Belize's National Assembly, where Prime Minister John Bricino reaffirmed the region's commitment to cooperation over confrontation amid a volatile global discord.
The agreements were signed during a special luncheon hosted in honor of President Ali and his delegation, which brought together members of the Belizean cabinet, parliamentarians from both houses, members of the diplomatic and consular corps, senior government officials, and representatives of civil society. In remarks welcoming the Guyanese leader, Belizean Prime Minister John Bricino highlighted the shared history, values, and aspirations that bind the Caribbean nations, emphasizing that regional strength lies in unity. Through the Caribbean Community CARICOM, he said cooperation among small states with shared challenges has extended beyond formal treaties to tangible collaboration in trade, education, culture, and collective responses to global issues. Prime Minister Bricino also underscored the region's commitment to peace, democracy, and dialogue, noting that CARICOM continues to prioritize cooperation over confrontation in an increasingly uncertain global environment.
In a world often marked by division and uncertainty, CARICOM continues to stand as an organization that believes in dialogue over conflict, cooperation over confrontation, and progress through mutual understanding. Guyana's engagement within the region reflects these principles clearly and consistently. Mr. President, your presence here today reinforces the importance of strong regional association and international cooperation.
As part of the bilateral engagement, the Prime Minister announced that Belize has initiated steps to complete its endorsement of the Global Biodiversity Alliance initiative spearheaded by President Ali. The alliance seeks to expand financing and cooperation to address biodiversity loss and its links to climate change and other global challenges. Bricino said Belize's participation aligns with the country's national priorities and international commitments while contributing to regional and global sustainability efforts. President Ali, in his response, expressed appreciation for the warm reception and reaffirmed Guyana's commitment to strengthening ties with Belize. He described the relationship between the two countries as one that reflects the broader vision of regional integration, noting that collaboration and policy alignment are critical to advancing shared development goals.
First of all, allow me on behalf of my delegation and the people of Guyana to salute the people of Belize with our love and to let you know that we are indeed stronger and better with Belize by our side.
The Guyanese head of state also highlighted the importance of cultural exchange and people-to-people connections in reinforcing regional unity, stating that Caribbean nations are stronger and more resilient when they work together. The signing of the MOU signals a renewed commitment by Guyana and Belize to expand cooperation within the CARICOM framework as both countries pursue inclusive growth, sustainable development, and greater regional integration. Colin Abrams, Guyana Tv9 News.
For thousands of small contractors across Guyana, last year meant more than just short-term jobs. It meant skills, experience, and a pathway into the construction industry. According to Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edgil, More than 4,500 small contractors were engaged on projects valued under $15 to $16 million, receiving hands-on guidance from ministry engineers while delivering drains, concrete roads, and other community-level works. Here is more.
Minister Edger said the initiative gives small contractors not only access to projects, but also hands on training in bidding, document preparation, and project execution. He added that every project is closely supervised by engineers to ensure roads and drains are built safely and meet national standards. For many local contractors, this program provides a chance to grow their businesses and contribute directly to their communities.
More than 4,500 small contractors under $15-16 million have been engaged by the Ministry of Public Works last year. Those are the people doing drains, concrete roads, small projects. We first of all start people off with projects that requires minimum amount of skill when you're not an experienced contractor. Our engineers basically hold the hands of people and teach them. This is what you need to do.
Minister Edges said residents have long complained about trucks blocking narrow streets and sidewalks, creating hazards and limiting mobility. In response, he noted that the Ministry of Public Works, with the help of Ministry of Housing, is relocating mechanic shops and spray painting operations to safer areas, while transforming community spaces into green parks and recreational areas. Ejil added that these measures aim to improve safety, accessibility, and quality of life for neighborhoods across the country.
That recklessness is coming to an end. We have bought 1,000 truck clamps. I repeat, 1,000. And you know what that means, Gordon? When we find them in the communities, we'll clamp it, and you'll pay to get it moved. But before we start clamping, the Ministry of Housing has been mandated by the President and the Cabinet to develop parking in various communities. For example, a couple of acres are being developed, I think, close to the Diamond area by the Ministry of Housing. Land that trucks, when you come from the interior, you park there, and then you get your private vehicle and you go home. You load your stuff and you go there. We've taken off in all of the regions, the mechanic shops, the vulcanizing shops, the spray painting shops.
For small contractors and everyday residents, these moves signal a government that is not just building roads, but investing in people, safety, and thriving communities. As training programs expand and enforcement begins, both entrepreneurs and neighbors are poised to benefit from smoother roads and safer streets. Faith Sandy, Guyana TV9 News.
Guyana's unemployment rate has plummeted to a historic low of 6.8% as of the fourth quarter of 2024, down from 12.8% in 2020. According to the latest labor force bulletin from the Bureau of Statistics, President Dr. Irfan Ali credited this rapid decline to a combination of aggressive economic diversification, strategic investment, and targeted government interventions. More in this Colin Abrams report.
President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali highlighted recent statistics from the recently released Guyana population and housing data that showed that unemployment fell from 12.8% in 2020 to 6.8% by the fourth quarter of 2024, a reduction of more than 50%. He noted that female unemployment also declined substantially, moving from 14.4% in 2020 to below 9% in 2024. According to the president, unemployment rates are now fairly balanced across regions, despite claims that job creation is concentrated only in urban sectors. The president said the data demonstrates a clear link between labor market performance and the government's development agenda, which prioritizes infrastructure development alongside growth in agriculture, tourism, manufacturing, agro-processing, and other productive sectors. Unemployment numbers have also increased significantly between the first quarter of 2020 and the fourth quarter of 2024. More than 104,000 new jobs were created. Over that period, the number of employed persons rose from approximately 264,000 to nearly 370,000, reflecting increased labor force participation as economic opportunities expanded.
But we hear a lot of persons parroting a narrative that is far from the reality, but a narrative that is only politically opportunistic for their own purpose. Now, let us look at the total number of persons employed from 2020, the first quarter, to the fourth quarter of 2024. Between that period alone, we have more than 104,000 persons, new persons employed. So persons employed moved from 264,000 to almost 370,000 in the last quarter of 2024. That is
Beyond job creation, the president highlighted substantial gains in wages. Average earnings rose sharply across all major sectors between 2020 and 2024, not only in oil and gas, but throughout the wider economy. According to official data, earnings increased by 84% in agriculture, forestry and fishing, 59%, in mining and quarrying, 57%, in manufacturing, 61%, in electricity, gas and steam, and 70% in construction.
at the distribution of the growth rate in earnings. It follows the distribution also of the economy, the diversification of the economy, and the structure of our employment over the last 4 years. There is no other economy that is more diversified. There is no other structural growth in employment and earning like we have in Guyana.
He further pointed to international assessments showing that Guyana now faces labor shortages rather than widespread unemployment. A labor market assessment by the Center for Local Business Development found a shortfall of more than 52,000 workers, while the International Organization for Migration estimates that if all unemployed and discouraged workers were absorbed, Guyana's labor supply would remain insufficient to meet medium-term demand. According to the IOM, the country will require approximately 160,000 workers to support projected growth, with a minimum of 10,000 needed to fully realize the government's development agenda. The studies also identified growing job demand in construction, hospitality and tourism, commerce, specialized services, agriculture and food systems, health and social services, and green technology and climate resilience. In the ongoing debate on Guyana's 2026 national budget in Parliament on Monday, members of the National Assembly raised concerns about unemployment and the labor market as part of broader discussions on economic policy and public welfare. Opposition speakers pressed the government on whether the reported economic growth has translated into meaningful job creation for school leavers and young people, questioning if the budget sufficiently addresses unemployment challenges facing the country's workforce. Colin Abrams, Guyana TV9 News.
Minister of Education Sonia Parag on Monday challenged opposition Member of Parliament Dr. Gordon Barker to quote-unquote lead by example, citing his own records as a teacher after he criticized the state of education delivery during the Budget 2026 debates. More from Adana Doric.
Dr. Barker, who represents the We Invest in Nationhood WIN party and is practicing education, used his maiden budget speech to argue that teachers are not adequately supported. He claimed that insufficient incentives and limited resources continue to undermine the education system. According to the parliamentarian, focusing solely on physical infrastructure without prioritizing educators would yield little progress.
Allow me to focus specifically on Region 3, Essequibo Islands, West Demerara. Region 3 is no longer a peripheral region. It is now the host of the Gas to Energy project, a rapidly expanding residential corridor, a gateway between coastal and riverine communities, a region experiencing increasing pressures on schools, roads, health services, and utilities.
Responding to the criticism, Minister Parag turned the focus to Dr. Barker's own conduct as a teacher, arguing that accountability must begin at the individual level.
Now, the Honorable Member spoke about many things, but the one thing that he didn't speak about, the one thing that he did not speak about, is his own record for tardiness in the schools. Yes, I want you to pause. I want you to pause. The 8th of September, 45 minutes late. The 9th of September, 26 minutes late. The 10th of September, 20 minutes late. The 11th of September, 45 minutes late. The 15th of September, 40 minutes late. The 22nd of September, 55 minutes late. The 24th of September, 35 minutes late. The 26th of September, 45 minutes late. The 30th of September, 20 minutes late. Our children are being taught by someone who is in school and talking about education being the priority. You are the priority in the schools to ensure that our students learn. You are. You are. You are. Lead by example. Lead by example.
Addressing concerns about teacher welfare, the education minister highlighted recent measures introduced by the government. She noted that educators now have access to free study opportunities, benefit from multiple allowances, and receive salary increases under the multi-year agreement signed between the government of Guyana and the Guyana Teachers Union GTU in 2024. Minister Parag also reaffirmed the government's commitment to the sector, stating that $183 billion allocated to education will be used strategically. She said the funding will support improvements in teachers' and students' livelihoods, strengthen education delivery, expand training opportunities, upgrade infrastructure, enhance benefits, and ease pressures across the system. Adana Dork, Guyana TV9 News.
In excess of 90,000 pensioners in Guyana will receive expanded financial support as Budget 2026 measures are implemented. Minister of Human Services and Social Security Dr. Vinya Prasad confirmed that monthly pension payments, currently $46,000, are planned to increase to $60,000 within the next 5 years. Here is more.
For thousands of elderly Guyanese citizens, these measures mean more than just figures on paper. They represent comfort, dignity, and security. Along with their monthly pension, seniors are receiving a $20,000 transportation grant, an annual electricity subsidy worth $30,000, water subsidies, and vouchers for spectacles and eye testing. For pensioners who struggle with rising living costs, these benefits help put food on the table, pay bills, and reduce the stress of everyday survival. The minister explained that the goal is to ensure no senior citizen is left behind as the country develops.
If you look at the 78.3 billion budget that has been allocated to this ministry, 70 billion of that is going directly to the hands of the beneficiaries across the length and breadth of Guyana. 70 billion. The recipients of public assistance, permanent disability, and senior citizens. Mr. Speaker, we have seen the increase in the numbers of beneficiaries since this People's Progressive Party Civic took office. Look back at your record, it was dismal. We have seen that we have grown the number of pensioners to over 90,000 pensioners. We have seen an increase in the first 5 years. We've honored our commitments. We've doubled the pension. We are now saying in these 5 years, we are going to move the pension to $60,000, which puts us at $46,000 per month.
Through the Ministry of Health, senior citizens now have access to home-based care services, influenza and pneumonia vaccines, and specialized geriatric programs. These initiatives are aimed at protecting some of Guyana's most vulnerable citizens and ensuring they live longer, healthier lives. Dr. Prasad stressed that caring for the elderly is not just a government responsibility, but a moral duty to those who help build the nation.
The Ministry of Health has a comprehensive program on home-based care that is directly related to the welfare and well-being of our senior citizens. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Health will look at protecting the life of our senior citizens. When you look at social services, it includes health, education, and social services as the ministry. When you can read the budget book, then come back and talk to me. Mr. Speaker, I want to say very, very clearly that the Ministry of Health for the first time is providing vaccines, influenza vaccines, pneumonia vaccines. These are life-saving vaccines that will impact on the life of our seniors.
As Guyana continues its rapid transformation, the government says senior citizens will remain at the heart of national development, with plans already in motion to further raise pensions and expand social services. Thousands of elderly men and women can look forward to greater support in the years ahead. For many grandparents and retirees, Budget 2026 offers renewed hope that their golden years will be spent with greater comfort, respect, and peace of mind. Faith Sandy, Guyana TV9 News.
We'll be back after this short break. Stay tuned.
Want to place your death announcements and in memoriam messages on Channel 9? Call 592-761-5006, 710-5008, 600-5006. Or visit our office at Lot 85A Lamaha Street, Albertown, Georgetown, Century 21 Building.
Guyana, Channel 9 is now Guy TV9, proudly under new management. We're building stronger with a balanced and open platform for all advertisers. Whether you're promoting a business, service, or event, your message belongs right here. So choose your spot, news, prime time, or anytime, and reach viewers across Guyana. With affordable rates and professional service, Guy TV9 is your partner in progress. So visit us at Lot 21A, Lamaha Street, Georgetown, in the Century 21 building, or call 600-5006 or 761-5006. Guyana TV9. New leadership, fresh outlook, real results.
Welcome back. You're watching the Guyana TV9 News Bulletin. A Guyanese man, Fazal Khan, has been awarded $75,000 after being unlawfully detained for 102 days in the Bahamas under harsh and degrading conditions, including a tiny, overcrowded cell with no proper facilities. Khan, who was later acquitted of bribery charges, described the ordeal as traumatic, especially given his health struggles with diabetes. The Supreme Court recognized the severe impact of his loss of freedom and inhumane treatment, offering both financial compensation and partial legal costs, bringing some measure of justice after years of legal battles. Minister of Amrina Affairs Sarah Brown Shadiq has strongly rejected what she described as inaccurate and misleading statements made by an opposition member of parliament regarding health services and infrastructure in Region 1, Brima-Waini, insisting that government investments are producing tangible improvements across hinterland communities.
Speaking with the National Communications Network NCN on the sidelines of the Budget 2026 debates on Monday, the minister said she moved swiftly to verify claims raised by WIN's Member of Parliament Dion Lacruz. Minister Brown Shadiq said the assertions prompted immediate checks with health authorities in the region. She stressed that no health facility under the government's responsibility should ever be allowed to deteriorate or be neglected.
Healthcare remains one of the most pressing failures in Muruka. And to my people who's watching in Muruka, you know this is a reality. Right? The Komaka District Hospital. Yes, I repeat, the Komaka District Hospital. Right? Where millions and millions of dollars has been spent at the Komaka District Hospital. And yet there is no proper mortuary. You have to lock the mortuary with a battery, Mr. Speaker. You want to say it again? All right. They don't have no proper mortuary in the Komaka District Hospital. Basic health care service remain at the regional level. Many residents still cannot receive treatment.
The minister said upon hearing the allegations in the House, she contacted the regional health officer, RHO, to establish the facts, noting that the information provided directly contradicted the claims made by the opposition.
In terms of the Komaka District Hospital, of the mortuary not functioning, of the Mabruma Hospital where mothers have to fetch water, where there's no running water, Port Kaituma. These, when I came out, I immediately called the RHO because, these are things that should not be happening. And I was reliably informed that this is far from the truth. What's happening in Muruka, it's It's not factual. The mortuary is functioning as we speak, and only in December there was a post-mortem done there. Body was stored there.
Addressing concerns about the lack of basic utilities, the minister pointed to evidence showing that water and essential services are operational at major health facilities across the region.
In Mabrumo, I have video evidence of the water flowing. The same thing in the Port Kaituma District Hospital. And we have been advancing healthcare in hinterland over the last 5 years. Specifically, so Moruca, where I'm from as well, we would have seen there, we would have had begin the construction of a new hospital that is much similar to the Diamond Hospital, the Lima Hospital, and that facility will be expected to provide all of the services. And so, of course, we have to creep before we can crawl, before we can walk.
Brown Shadegg also contrasted the current situation with conditions just a few years ago, recalling a period when health facilities in Region 1 were plagued by severe shortages of drugs and essential medical supplies. Beyond healthcare, the minister said Budget 2026 clearly outlines substantial investment aimed at improving overall living standards in hinterland communities. She highlighted housing support programs that allocated $3 million to hinterland villages to assist vulnerable households with home repairs and building materials. She further dismissed claims that sports development has been overlooked, noting that the government has provided $1 million annually for 2 consecutive years to each of the 254 hinterland villages. According to the minister, additional plans are already underway to upgrade and expand support facilities in communities including Santa Rosa, Maburuma, and Port Kaituma. Adana Dorg, Guyana TV9 News.
For 2 consecutive years, 2024 and 2025, Vicadi Singh ruled the Chutney Monarch stage, winning over audiences with the emotional Gone Away and the socially powerful Let Him Go. This year, however, the crown will rest on someone else's head. Not because Vicadi Singh was dethroned, but because the 2-time monarch made a conscious decision to step back. Adana Dark has tonight's feature.
In an exclusive interview with Guyana TV9, Singh confirmed that he will not be competing in this year's Chutney Monarch competition, though he made it clear that his passion for the art form and his support for fellow artists remains strong.
Sadly, no, I'm not going to be participating this year, but definitely I'm going to be on the ringside cheering for my colleagues to ensure that we have a wonderful competition.
So before we get into this interview, why are you not entering this year?
Oh, well, there's so many things happening at that time for me, so I had to really prioritize what I do. And I couldn't have managed to prepare myself for the Chutney Monarch this year. But definitely, I'm not out of it. I'm looking towards getting back into the competition next year.
Singh explained that with multiple commitments demanding his attention, he chose to pause this season rather than compete without the level of preparation he believes the competition deserves, already setting his sight on a next year return. His 2025 winning entry, Let Him Go, offered a clear reminder of why Vicadi Singh continues to stand out in the genre. More than just entertainment, the song sparked conversation confronting the issue of domestic violence in a way rarely heard in Chutney music, acknowledging that abuse affects not only women but men as well.
As we were having a conversation before we got on camera, as I was saying, around that time, me gaining an inspiration towards writing on a topic of such came from so many things happening. Every time you scroll on social media, you see some sort of a domestic violence happening, not only for women but men too, right? So that is what kind of inspired me to write a song like Let Him Go. Like, it's not really let him go, you can let her go if she's abusive as well too. You know how it is, vice versa.
That ability to blend melody with message has become a defining feature of Vicadi Singh's artistry. His music doesn't shy away from real life, it leans into it. And while he may be absent from the competition stage this year, Singh is far from slowing down creatively. He revealed that 3 songs are now currently in the studio with plans to release the first within weeks. Though, true to his form, he is keeping the details tightly under wraps.
Currently, I have like about 3 songs in the studio, but I haven't been too well, as I was telling you. But definitely the songs are going to be coming out pretty soon. I should be getting the first one out within the next 2 weeks. Yeah.
give us a snippet of that song? Or what it might sound like?
I don't do that. I don't do that. Sorry. I'm so sorry. My music, I tend to want to have it be presented there and then on release. I just want people to, I want to build an excitement like, what is he really coming with? That's how I do my music. So you just had Mr. Lincoln,
Yes.
the reigning Calypso monarch of Guyana. He is within the force, the police force. I always wanted to be a police officer, honestly. So when I look back, I always tell my colleagues, hey, you know what? If there's one thing that I would have done if I'm not doing this, would have been I would have joined the force. Honestly, probably would have been the commissioner by now.
Now, 6 years into his professional music career, Vicadi Singh is a full-time artist touring in and out of Guyana, with international travel becoming routine. His breakout hit Never Gonna Leave continues to enjoy heavy rotation, still echoing through shops, cars, and supermarkets long after its release. In an industry often driven by constant visibility and noise, Vicadi Singh stands out for his restraint. He knows when to sing, when to speak, and when to step back. This year, the Chutney Monarch will watch from the sidelines, cheering on the next wave of performers. But his absence from the competition does not signal an exit. Vicadi Singh isn't done. He is simply preparing for what comes next. Adana Doric and TV9 News.
Minister of Public Works Juan Egil took the floor on Monday to forcefully dismiss opposition claims that Budget 2026 ignores the ordinary Guyanese. As the first government speaker to join the fray at the Arthur Chung Conference Center, Egil declared that the fiscal plan is a deliberate social contract designed to bind national prosperity with individual fairness.
His remarks served as a direct rebuttal to opposition MPs Dr. Andrew Lewis and Vince Roy Jordan. Jordan opened the session by echoing the APNU's frequent criticism that the budget offers nothing for the people, a narrative Egil moved quickly to dismantle with specific figures.
Listen to who's going to get the benefits. Every family that gets a newborn baby continues to get 100,000 at the time of birth. 206,000 children in private and public schools will get their cash grant of $85,000, putting people first. 106,100 pensioners will get their increased pension, putting people first.
Addressing the concrete and motor criticism, Egil argued that the infrastructure isn't just about roads, it's about social dividends and equal access for the working class. He also laughed off claims that the PVPC had lifted its budget team from the opposition.
Secondly, the Honorable Member Mr. Jordan seems to think that he has a hold on the term putting people first. But I would like to remind him, where in 1990 and 1992, President Chevy Chaikin used terms like the new global human order, people-centered budgets, global humanism, development with equality. These were concepts in the PPPC long before 2025 manifesto of the APNU.
Closing his presentation, the minister described the 2026 proposal as a pro-poor blueprint intended to ensure every citizen partakes in the nation's oil-driven success. He maintained that while the opposition focuses on politics, the government is focusing on the everyday needs of farmers, small businesses, and
In tonight's regional news, at least 15 people, including 3 children, died when a bus carrying religious pilgrims overturned in a rural Alagoas, Brazil, as they returned from the Our Lady of Candia's celebration. The bus, part of a convoy of hundreds traveling more than 500 kilometers, lost control multiple times, leaving survivors clinging to life. Emergency crews rushed the injured to hospitals, while the state mourns a tragic loss, with 3 days of official mourning declared as families and communities grieve this devastating accident. Internationally, in Puntland, Somalia, a rare execution of a woman has sparked grief and reflection, as 34-year-old Hudan Muhammad Diray was put to death for the murder of 14-year-old Sahabirin Selan, a domestic helper who suffered prolonged abuse in her household. The tragic case, which ignited protests and outrage in Galkeo, highlights the vulnerability of children and domestic workers, as well as the deep pain of a community demanding justice. Families, activists, and neighbors mourn the girl's life while calling for stronger protection to prevent such cruelty from happening again. Those are major headlines for tonight's newscast. For more trending stories, follow us at our Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube platforms at GUI TV9. I am Faith Sandy. Thanks for watching.